Imagine a hypothetical military showdown between Venezuela and the United States.
Objetivo detectado en el sector 3.
Recibido, capitán. Listos para enganchar.
In such a scenario, Venezuela's strategy wouldn't rely on overwhelming firepower, but on something entirely different: deterrence, denial, and pure survival. Now, before we dive any deeper, it's crucial to state this clearly: there is no active war between Venezuela and the United States, and a direct military conflict is extremely unlikely. What we are doing here is a high-level analytical overview, exploring Venezuela's military capabilities and how they fit into modern strategic thinking. This is not about operational plans, secret tactics, or predicting real-world events. It's a strategic thought experiment. So, where does Venezuela's military strength truly lie? It starts with its ground forces. The largest component of its military is its manpower and basic infantry weapons. The Venezuelan armed forces are primarily equipped with Russian-made AK-103 rifles, supplemented by machine guns, grenade launchers, and mortars. These are classic tools for territorial defense, urban warfare, and prolonged resistance. They aren't designed for launching offensive campaigns. Far from home, in any hypothetical conflict against a vastly superior power, these small arms would serve defensive and internal security roles, not conventional battlefield dominance. Furthermore, Venezuela places a significant emphasis on its militia and reserve forces. The goal here is simple: increase the human cost of any foreign intervention through sheer numbers and an intimate familiarity with the local terrain. It's a strategy designed to make an occupation a long, grinding, and painful affair. If there's one area where Venezuela has specifically invested to counter a superpower like the United States, it's in air defense. The purpose of these systems isn't to defeat US air power outright. That would be an impossible task. Instead, their mission is to deny airspace, protect critical infrastructure, and make air operations incredibly complicated and risky for an attacker. In strategic terms, it's all about deterrence and delay, not about controlling the skies. It includes some of the most capable aircraft in Latin America, most notably the Sukhoi Su-30 Mk2 multi-role fighter jets. These are powerful planes, capable of performing air defense, maritime patrols, and limited strike missions. They represent a credible regional force. However, against the sheer numbers, advanced sensors, and overwhelming support network of the US Air Force, they would be severely outmatched. In a hypothetical confrontation, the Venezuelan air fleet would likely focus on defensive patrols, symbolic resistance, and trying to inflict some initial costs. Rather than attempting to fight a sustained air campaign, they also have training aircraft and helicopters to support logistics, troop transport, and close air support for their ground forces. Now let's turn to the sea. Venezuela's navy is relatively modest, but it's strategically positioned along its extensive Caribbean coastline. Its assets include frigates, patrol vessels, and diesel-electric submarines, all designed for operations in regional waters. These platforms are perfectly suited for coastal defense, patrol missions, and what's known as sea denial, preventing an enemy from using the seas freely close to shore. The Navy's role would be to protect territorial waters and critical maritime infrastructure, like oil terminals. Here, geography plays a huge role. The shallow waters, narrow approaches, and a deep familiarity with the coastline can amplify the effectiveness of a smaller naval force, making it a tricky environment for a large ocean-going fleet to operate in. What about strategic weapons? It's important to be clear: Venezuela does not possess intercontinental ballistic missiles or nuclear weapons. Its missile capabilities are integrated into its air and coastal defense strategies. It maintains short and medium-range missile systems designed to protect its airspace and coastlines, not to project power across continents. Their strategic value lies in raising the risk threshold for any potential adversary. But they are still relevant. In a modern conflict, cyber tools are often used for disruption, propaganda, and signaling intent, rather than achieving a decisive military victory on their own. They add another unpredictable dimension to the strategic landscape. Perhaps one of Venezuela's most important weapons isn't a weapon at all, it's geography. The country is a challenging landscape for any invading force. It's a mix of dense jungles, rugged mountains, sprawling urban centers, and a very long coastline. Unsurprisingly, Venezuela's military doctrine emphasizes using this geography to its advantage, aiming to make any occupation or prolonged operation incredibly costly and ultimately unsustainable. History is filled with examples where geography heavily favored determined defenders over technologically superior attackers.